Hey guys, it's Al B here.
And it's your boy KT, and you guys are here for the first official installment of Off the Coast. As you guys can hear, we have the beach in the background, we have a beautiful scenery here, and we're here to give you all things Praia League basketball. However, today's episode is sponsored to you by Bon Appetit, one of our great sponsors that we wouldn't be here without. So Al, we had an amazing opening day.
We sure did.
I don't know if you saw the highlights. I don't know if you saw the games, but I know me personally, I was blown out of the water by not only the American talent, but especially the Cape Verdean talent.
I agree. I was not expecting that day one. Sure. I thought they were, slowly figure things out, but they got it together.
Absolutely,
quickly.
And that's one thing we all thought they were going to take a little while to adjust and acclimate with the language barrier and playing with new guys. And they just got off the plane 2 to 3 days before they actually played their first game. But they showed us up and they showed out for sure. So let's go ahead and jump into the first game. The first game of the day was the Panthers versus the Volcanico. Now, we know that the end score did not display the amount of talent in the plays you saw during this game.
Yes.
So tell me what you think about that game.
I think Nick Manor-Hall, he played amazing, but it wasn't enough to win the game, unfortunately. I think that some of the other players need to step up in order for them to win, continuing on in the season. What do you think?
Absolutely. They definitely need to come together more team chemistry-wise. I know that their star guard, one of their guards, Terrace, he actually had a little bit of a stomach bug due to the fatigue and the hotness of the gym. Not quite sure what happened to him, but him coming back will play an integral piece because he only had about 6 points before he had his injury. So when he comes back in, I'm sure that'll change the faces of everything. Anthony Lane, their big man, actually had a pretty quiet game, but he had 10 rebounds, which was a sneaky stat. And something like that is definitely going to help them in the long run. As long as they come together and can join, I definitely can see them maybe winning a few games here and there, maybe being one of those underdogs in the playoffs. But honestly, we got to talk about the other side. It's a big three in here. We got to talk about the other side. There's definitely a big three in this Praia League. And on this team, on the Volcanico, you have Jawan, Stephanie.
He was amazing. Honestly, my favorite player of the day.
Okay, favorite player of the day. Now, his counterpart, his backcourt duo, he actually had 32, I think it was, that Nasir Kaur had. And he was actually the player of the game. So that tandem is kind of like a Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum kind of thing. And coming into the game, it was going to be a backcourt battle. I know the guys had a little bit of talking before the game. Some of the guards thought that they were better than the other guards. So we definitely had a lot of high energy plays. One thing, though, I will say is I was expecting more from Cam Carter.
I agree.
One of the best bigs in the JBA when he played. He's a big guy, 6'8". He's a dominant force in the paint. One of his favorite players is Shaq. So I would definitely be looking forward to him having an outbreak game this week, for sure.
Do you think he was just shy, or?
I don't know if he was shy. I think he got a little comfortable with a 20-point lead. You know, his guards are doing what they got to do. You don't got to do much. He could be a big fella and just hang out down low.
True.
We'll actually go to game 2 here. So game 2, to me, was gonna be game of the day prior. Coming into the game, I thought it was going to be game of the day. A lot of people have the Gorillas as their underdog favorite to win the championship. And everyone else thinks that CBC Della is like the Warriors, you know? But I feel like they can be beat, for sure. And I feel like the Gorillas definitely showed that. It was a tight matchup coming in. It ended the first quarter as a 4-point lead for the Gorillas. They definitely showed that they can compete. And that duo, they have 2 wings, Mario Williams and Rodriguez Palmer. That combo, if they can get those things in order, that 2-wing scoring, it's like having 2 Kevin Durants on the same team. Honestly, they shoot, they drive, they finish at the cup, and they play great defense. Like we said with the Panthers, though, they just have to kind of come together more as a team.
I agree. I think that Paris Collins kind of upset me a little bit. I was expecting more, our number 1 pick. So hopefully, well, not tomorrow, but hopefully in his next game, he'll show out.
Absolutely. I think Paris Collins, I felt the same way. I thought he was going to come out and have an outstanding game. Don't get me wrong. He had a great game for his leadership. He was speaking on the floor. He was very vocal. He showed early that he's the captain of that team. You can see he was hyping up his big man, his Cape Verdean players. You can see he's hyping up the American players. They're playing great defense. They're active. They were vocally involved. And I feel like that as a captain sometimes stands out more than the stat sheet. So I feel like he played his role. Of course, we would like to see him fill the stat sheet a little more. Unfortunately, he has a 1-game suspension for his next game.
Yes.
But after that suspension, I'm sure he'll come out firing on all cylinders. However, there was one standout that we did not mention from the Gorillas.
Okay.
And that is Mr. Alex Austin.
Yes.
Alex Austin had above 30 points this game, and in the first quarter, he started off a little slow, but then he came through with some monstrous dunks. He had some posters, and he actually got caught from a poster, but they say you're not playing defense if you're not getting dunked on.
Right.
So we'll see what that is.
The
We'll
only
see those
thing-
plays later on. But Alex Austin definitely had a great game. What do you think?
He had a great game, but I think the Gorillas need more than 3 people to score. They only had 3 players that scored the entire game. They need everyone to step up a little bit.
Absolutely. And you
If they
can
wanna
see
win.
the coaching on that team. The Gorillas started in a 2-3 zone.
Yes.
And that is something that they ran throughout the whole game, here and there, challenging CB to shoot because CB has the height. They have a 6'11 big. They have a 6'8
They
big
got
in
runners.
Zoran who grabs the boards and can finish around the rim. And they have slashers and Kobe Reeves and in Paris Collins.
Yep.
So when you think about all that, of course the 2-3 zone might be the easiest thing to run. But the shots just started falling for CBC
Yeah.
together. So they gave up. The
sure.
Gorillas gave up the lead going into halftime. They came out after halftime a little slow. Of course, Rodriguez Palmer was holding them in the game, keeping them in the game with Alex Austin. Unfortunately, Mario Williams, he rolled his ankle in the first quarter. So he
Yeah.
wasn't really the same going through the rest of the game. He wasn't
I
the
agree.
same impact. So, of course, he'll come back. Hopefully, he'll be fully healthy, and they can get their big 3 rolling. They didn't pull away the win. They did show, though, that they can compete with one of the best teams in the league.
I
And
agree.
CBC Della came out, and they explained, and they showed why
Yeah.
a lot of people are thinking that
They
they're the
definitely
favorites.
earned my respect, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Game 3, the Warriors versus the Sharks. Honestly, I thought the Sharks were going to take it, but I was really surprised. The Warriors really did play like Warriors. It was crazy.
It was definitely a great game. I will say you cannot bring up the Warriors without bringing up Joshua York Fraser.
Yes.
I mean, he had an outstanding game. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Amazing.
He had 7 threes, I think it was, in the third quarter, and he seemed to not miss in the fourth. His energy is something that we have not seen yet.
Yep.
His crowd interaction, I'm telling you, once we get the fans in the stadium, they are going to love Joshua York Fraser. But let's get back to the game. The game was definitely a tight-knit game. Of course, we have Charles Boozer on the Sharks,
Yep.
who is a dominant force, high IQ, and a high motor, running with Malik Miller, the actual number 2 pick in our draft,
Yep.
who had a good game as well, and the 2 American Cape Verdeans on the team who can speak the language, or 1 American Cape Verdean who can speak the language in Jules. And then you have Alwyn Silva, an actual local neighborhood hero, I would say,
Yes.
for the Palmerasia Sharks, who had a very, very, very quiet game. But we'll get into that. I will say this, though. The game was very tight throughout. I thought the Sharks were going to blow them out the water. And
Yes.
Andre Scoop Jackson made sure that he dominated the paint, inside and out. And the pick and rolls that him and Fraser ran reminded me a little bit of John Stockton and Karl Malone. They were
Okay.
finishing at the rim. They were playing well together. Let me see what you think about that gameplay. How did you think they did?
I think they did amazing. One thing I can say is for any team, not just the Sharks, in order to beat the Warriors, you can't switch on your picks. There's no way. You got to stay on your man because that's the only way you can stop them. Like, they're unstoppable, I think, at this point.
Absolutely. And you bring up the switching on the picks. As we saw early in the first half, the Sharks were doing a lot of switching, and they weren't really paying for it because Joshua York Fraser wasn't necessarily hitting yet. He wasn't making the shots that he's
Yeah.
supposed to make. He made a few here and there, had a good stat line, but he wasn't making the Sharks pay for their lack of defense
Yeah.
and their lack of help rotation. So when it came out the second half and they had Joshua York Fraser seeing the entire court, they let him see the entire court.
Great.
Didn't guard him 94 feet or anything. Just let him see the court. He had his way. He had his way with the Sharks defense, and it was a little too late. The Sharks tried to make it a late game adjustment and have Charles Boozer face guard Joshua York Fraser, which is what I think they should have done the whole game.
Yep.
Because, of
Would be
course,
better.
scores are going to score. It's just a matter of how much are you going to let them score.
Right.
Because it's this simple. He had roughly about 34 points, 31
You can't
to 34
stop all, but you can
points.
stop most if you
Exactly.
want
They
to.
lost by 6 points. The end score is 6 points. So you make him miss 2 3-pointers, and you guys are in overtime. You know, you probably win the game if
And
you
the
just
thing-
stop him for 2 to 3
And the
possessions.
thing with him is he's so good at getting in their heads. Like, I don't know if you've seen when he, like, shoved the Cape Verdean player and then he shoved him back, and then the Cape Verdean player got a tech, and he walked away laughing. I was like, yo, he's getting in their heads. That's crazy.
He definitely plays a mind game for sure. Joshua Fraser definitely plays a mind game. I think that kind of plays on where he's from. You know, he says he's from Toronto.
Yeah.
You know, he puts on for Canada. It's a little bit of feistiness up there, a little bit more grit. So we definitely would love to see him be a standout. He had a great game. Andre Jackson had a great game. For the Sharks, I will say this. This is not the end of the Sharks.
Oh, no.
This is not. They had some game planning issues. They had a couple, I would say, rotation problems. Once they find their lineup and they really stick with it, they have a team, a star-studded team that definitely can take them deep into the playoffs.
Do you think it's the coach or do you think it's them specifically?
I think it's a little early to be pointing the blame game, but I will say this. No team will win a championship without adhering conjoinment, as far as they all have to be on the same page, and that includes the coach.
Correct.
It's a respect factor. Everyone's pro basketball players out here. You have to have the respect. You got to understand your coach. Your coach has to have respect for you and your game and understand where to put you in your spots.
That's true.
So I'll say that, well, hopefully, you know, they can go on a trip or something and some team bonding.
Yeah.
They'll figure something out, and then they'll move on, and maybe that might be what they need.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, Al, I think it is time for our very first segment. We have the PBL top 5 plays of the day.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Cool. So we're going to start. And at number 5, we actually have an amazing putback dunk from Jawan Stepney in his great game. He had a double-double in this game. And you can see clearly here his bounce is through the roof. As a guard, he comes in so aggressive and just Russell Westbrook-esque. Just the rebound and the putback. It's so aggressive.
For sure.
All right, and number 4, we have your boy, Josh York Fraser. I call him Yo-Yo because he yokes him back and forth. As you can see here, snatch, and then he hits the step back with the smoothest jumper. Let's run it back again. Here you can see he is not playing. I told everyone before the game that I'm calling him Yo-Yo because he's going to snatch him back and forth. He's going to make some ankles pay out here. All right, and number 3, we actually have Alex Austin with the mean slam. You can clearly see here that he was playing with determination, heart, and passion with this aggressive slam here. And you run it back. Let's keep this face familiar. You can see who's on the other team for CBC to Della. Just remember that face and remember that jersey because it'll come back around. And the number 2, we had a lot of issues with this one. Some people felt it should have been number 1. I felt like it should have been number 1, maybe number 2. I'm not quite sure. But it's a mean slam from Andre Scoop Jackson, who actually comes in so aggressive off of one leg and catches a mean poster against local superstar Albert Silva. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the number 1 play of the opening day of the Praia Basketball League, I told you guys to remember that face, the big from CBC to Della. He's a man with a possessed plan. He's coming down the paint. You see him on the fast break. Everyone thinks he's going to lay it up. Some think he might pass it. No, slam right back on Alex Austin's head and 1 to the free throw line. And that is our number 1 play of the Praia Basketball League opening day. All right, so Al B. Now we're going to move on to our next segment.
Okay.
And we have the player of the day. Now, before we say who the player of the day is, we had a lot of outstanding players who had great games. Let's just name a few. Who do you think?
Jawan Stepney was definitely one.
Okay.
Core was another.
Nasir Kaur.
And then, you know, the one we chose.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the name.
Of course,
say
the one we chose. Like you said, Jawan had a double-double. Great game. Nasir Kaur, 30-plus points. Great game. Of course, Alex Austin had his thing, had a great highlights, great dunks. He did his thing, great game. It's a lot of players that we could have chosen for this. But unfortunately, due to his energy, his grit, and his fan interaction, man, of course, player of the game this week goes to Joshua York Fraser. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Joshua York Fraser, he actually had 31 points. I think he had about 37, maybe a couple points were missed. I'm not quite sure. But I do know he had more than 30 points, and he definitely shot about 7 for 12 from the three-point line. He was a dominant guard. He controlled the entire pace of the game. Yeah. There's not many guards, Al. There's not many players
that can
in professional basketball alone. NBA, BAL, FIBA, doesn't matter. There's not many players in the world that can control the pace of a game the way he did.
I agree.
Not only did he do it with assists, he fed his big. He fed his Cape Verdean players. He fed his shooters. but he also got his in the points perspective.
Yep.
He was looking like Steph Curry out there a little bit.
I respect that a
He was
lot.
looking like Damian Lillard out there a little bit. I saw some step back, some crosses. I know that the trainer was very upset because she had to run out of ice for all the ankles and the tape that they had to get out of there. I'm telling you, he's a great player. He had a great game. I can't wait to see what he does.
He's not selfish, so
absolutely, he's very humble too. You
very.
speak to him. I spoke to him after the game for a post-game interview. He's very humble, Al. I mean, you would think a guy like that, you know, he talks so much on the court, but that's just a part of the game. And when he gets off the court, let me tell you something that I noticed that I would give respect to him for. At the end of the game, his entire team, they all went to the locker room, right?
Yeah.
And the Sharks, they were having like a moment where they were in the huddle. Their coach was giving them some talks, and they just took a little bit to talk after the game. Josh York Fraser stood there and waited for them to finish their conversation to dap them up and tell them, good game. And now that is sportsmanship.
That is dope, yeah.
That's something you don't see every day. That is something that we preach.
Yes.
To have sportsmanship, and he actually, that's what I mean, he's humble, and he's a great player. I can't wait to see what he does for the rest of the league.
Tomorrow,
that is this week's player of the game. We're gonna have another player of the game every single show, so let's see what the players can do. Hopefully we have some Cape Verdean players, because I saw a couple out there.
I've seen a couple.
I saw a few out there. These Americans might want to keep their head on a swivel about for sure. All right, and I'll be today. It's a special day, you know, July 6th. Yesterday was July 5th. And to, you know, Americans, July 4th, that's our Independence Day. But guess what? We're not in America.
We are in
Cape Verde. And their Independence Day is July 5th.
Yes.
So yesterday was their Independence Day. So today we're going to dedicate our Cape Verdean culture segment to Independence Day.
Yes.
So Albie, please give the people, if you guys don't know, this is Albie's homeland, Cape Verde. You know, there's a beautiful woman here, of course, beautiful woman here. It only makes sense. But however, she has the brains too. She's going to give you guys a quick little history lesson about Cape Verdean culture.
Yes. Okay, so we became independent in 1975 from Portuguese. We have 10 islands, but we live on 9. All of them combined is basically the size of Rhode Island, which is the smallest state in the U.S. We're here in the capital, Praia, which is a part of Santiago. How are you feeling about Santiago so far?
I actually love this island. I want to touch every single island in Cape Verde. You wake up every morning to the beautiful ocean. You know, everyone's so nice here. You know,
Yes.
and America is a little different. Everyone's got to be ready for cultural change, and out here, you got to be able to accept it. And Africa is not how America and mainstream media portrays it. It's beautiful out here.
How did you take it when you finally sat down at a restaurant? Because you know everything's so relaxed and we're so used to everything being done quickly. How do you feel about that?
That's a very, very nice way of putting it. We went out to eat, you know, we went to grab some dinner as a staff, and of course, it took a little longer than in America for us to get our food and drinks and stuff like that. Of course, that's just a part, you know, relaxed, but just that vibe and that culture that you guys have out here, that laid back, you know, we're gonna get it done. It's gonna happen, just chill, you know?
Yeah.
I like that out here. So Albie, let me ask you a question. Where do you see Cape Verde moving on as a country from here? Because you guys have 47 years of independence, right? So that's remotely very, very young still. You know, that's when we talk about the slow movement of the environment of the country. You guys are still young. So what things would you like to see out here? And how do you feel Praia is making those steps as well?
I feel like we should focus more on being more independent, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, we're running things, but we're not running things, which we'll talk to our guest about that because he's from here, so he'll be able to explain more. I see potential in being, like, no longer being a third world country. I see potential. It's just going to take a little longer.
Okay, absolutely. And of course, our sponsor, Bon Appetit, is just one of the new things that Americans and other people and Cape Verdeans are all trying to bring to the island.
Yes.
They're trying to bring the what the America has or what Europe has, just to catch Cape Verde up. And you guys have great restaurants out here. You know, we have the Praia League starting up, the first basketball league out here. So things are definitely moving in a positive direction. I love it out here. Happy Independence Day, belated Independence Day to all of the Cape Verdeans out there. I do not want to move, so if anyone has an available spot, please let me know.
KT, one idea I was thinking of the other day was I want to do like a movie theater, like an outdoor one.
Okay.
They don't have movie theaters
Like a
here.
drive-in?
Like a drive-in.
Okay,
Or
that's it.
sit-in. So, you know, we have a lot of potential.
Let's look in the camera.
We said it first.
That was copyrighted by Off the Coast with Albie and KT.
Correct.
You will not be taking the drive-in movie theater idea. Albie, I think we have a few more minutes. What are 3 things that you absolutely love about Cape Verde that's not in the States?
Well, I struggle with anxiety.
Okay.
I'll talk about that. And once I arrived, I've been fine.
You've been fine.
Like, I haven't had any issues.
It's very
so I don't
peaceful.
know if it's the air or it's just being home. That's 1. 2 is just the food every day. Like, I live in Miami. My mom lives in Rhode Island, so I don't get to eat Cape Verdean food like that. So being here every day eating it, I love it. 3, the nonstop music. I'm so sick of hip hop. I love hearing my own music, and I love being able to understand like 2 languages. So it's dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all we have today for our Cape Verdean Culture segment. Thank you to Albie for her beautiful facts and great cultural impact and insight. Up next, we're actually going to have our first Celebrity Corner. That's our segment here.
Our very own from Praia.
From Praia. So we're going to have our first guest come up here. We're going to keep it a secret. We're going to make you guys wait a little bit longer. And when we come back, you guys will be ready to see him. What's up, guys? Your boy KT here. And we are back with Albie.
Yes.
And Albie, what special guest do we have with us today?
We have God Delamba, rapper, local. loves the
Entrepreneur.
yes, loves the game of ball. How you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We good.
I'm doing well. Can't do too much complaining. Yesterday was actually Cape Verdean Independence Day, so congratulations and happy belated Independence Day to you and the country. What are some things you feel about that?
Hey, I'm glad. I'm happy. But I wouldn't say independent. I'll say dependent. Of course, like our ancestors, they fought for something that I think we're still fighting for. It was just a process, And 5th of July, it represents Cape Verde. It represents everybody. It represents Amilcar Cabral. It represents my grandparents, all the suffer my ancestors went through, But we're still dependent. We produce nothing, We depend on the European Union. We depend on the immigrant remittance. We depend on tourism. We don't even make cups. So it's very important you are abroad. If you come in here, we always wait for you with love, with hospitality, because we know how important you are. And we're going to be important for you too,
Okay, that's definitely a older look, OG's perspective for sure.
Speaking of independence, do you think the Praia League is helping Praia be more independent in the sense of it being its own league and not being run by, Portugal or anything else?
Praia League is history in the making, and it's beautiful. It brings a new hope for players, because Cape Verde is a small place, a small country, archipelago with about 500,000 people. You have a lot of talent. You have a lot of, what's the right word for it? Potential, yep. I was going to say something else, but potential just fits right. And sometimes you don't have the window, if I could call it that. You don't have the broadcast. People don't get to be seen,
Yeah.
And Praia League is going to do that. It's going to bring tourism. It's going to the players, 20 players that probably never knew it was Cape Verde. They're going to come back. They're going to make a house here. It's a wrap. You don't come here once. And you watching this, if you never came, you're going to come tomorrow too. Because Praia League is it's going to bring jobs. It's going to bring entertainment. It's going to take basketball to the next level. It's if I come into Praia League is going to bring a whole bunch of stuff for the positive. And when you talk about basketball, you talk about health.
Yes.
You talk about love. So Praia League, I want to thank Praia League for coming to Praia. Me as a Praiense, somebody from Praia, it's just love, man. I see how everybody's amped out there. Everybody's asking for the tickets. Unfortunately, in the beginning, because of the situation the whole world is going through, we got to do a bubble. But we're going to open, and I know next year it's gonna be problem. We're gonna have to build a new place to do Praia League because it's gonna be that place too small for it.
KT, so you've been around him just as long as I have. You know he's very humble. His voice is softening. He welcomes everyone. How did you get into rapping? Why did you pick rapping out of all other types of music here in Cape Verde?
I didn't pick rap. Rap picked me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a love, man. You can't explain love. You can just feel it. Rap in Cape Verde went from music like stigmatized, crazy people music. Nowadays we're idols. We got an independence 1975, a couple years ago. My mom's lived to see the independence. I was born a couple years after the independence. So everything is new to here.
Yeah.
We the World Trade Center. We're in the middle of Atlantic Ocean. We got influence from Europe, from America. You have more Cape Verdeans abroad than here. So rap went from Cape Verde. I'm sorry if you're from Bronx, you're listening to this. I don't mean no one. Yeah, for real. I mean it. Rap went from Africa, and we went to America, our ancestors. So rap is in us.
Okay.
And I love rap. I can explain it. And when I write a track, I'm happier than a fan. I'm saying, like, damn, this is my born. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And one thing I know, you've played a couple songs for me and, translated a couple of the words and I'll tell you now, the man's got bars. So let's just keep that 100. But one thing I respect about you the most, God, and your music is you're not out here telling kids to go rob people. You're not out here telling kids to go sell drugs or be on the trap or on the corner like that. You're actually spreading love and positivity.
Yes.
So my question to you is, where does that energy stem from? Where does that whole motive and MO in your rap game, where does that come?
KT, when you talk about rap, you just said bars, lines, swag. It's a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got people that talk negativity, and I listen to them, and I like their bars and how they do it. I don't get the message, but when you talk about a young kid, he's gonna get the whole information, especially if he's an idol. I've been both sides. I'm an addict. Spent 15 years of my life doing drugs. I'm not shy to talk about it. I'm not ashamed to talk about it. Now I live 7 years clean.
Absolutely.
Congrats.
I've learned,
That's dope.
almost 8, I've learned I have to pass the message. It's bigger than Jim's music. Sometimes we on a macho man world, and Cape Verde ain't different from that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we make our women look like products, and we make ourselves look dumb, and we just don't know it.
Right.
Because it's a chess game, and we pawns.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think I'm sorry saying this word, you think you're the shit, but you are the shit. Because the system have you as the shit. You know what I'm saying? I heard a line that says, Jay-Z said it, if one person didn't make it, nobody in the room made it. We all gotta make it. How we gonna make it? It ain't about money. We all love money. Ain't nothing wrong with money. It's what you do with it, And I think the majority of us are using it wrong, on the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And we stepping on each other. We letting the ego speak louder than the love.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think my rap music, it's a learning process, but I'm the first learner because I have to go learn and bring it. I'm not the owner,
Right.
They don't belong to me, so I have to pass it. I think if each one teach one, we have a different world.
I like that.
Okay. Well, let's take a little bit of a left turn here. You've actually been inside of the first game, inside of the Praia League bubble to see the teams play.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do the KTs and Albs off the coast next game predictions, and I need you to be a part of it. Okay, you can do that for me. It's 3 games, 16. I know you saw the competition. I know you got a couple favorite players too.
I'm lucky, man. If I pick a team, they're gonna win. So ask me. That's gonna be like curse.
Okay.
All right, so for the first game, we have Cidadela versus Volcanico.
So we got Paris Collins
Paris Collins.
versus Nasir Kaur and Juwan Step. First game. Now, both of these guys' teams had huge first games. Juwan Stepney and his team, Nasir Kaur, they put together almost a 50-point win. And Paris Collins, I know that's your boy. I know that's your guy. I know you like him, guy.
Yeah, I like them all. Let's put it like this. I like them all. You know what I'm saying? Because, the way they're having fun on the court, it's beautiful. That's why Praia League different.
You're definitely right.
Right? They're having fun, and I'm over here having fun. I'm getting high. I don't use none.
Okay.
And that's what gets me high, get me amped.
Okay.
Cidadela against Volcano. It's going to be a tough game.
Listen, guy,
Definitely.
I respect it, and I respect you dancing around the question, but you need to tell me right now.
Hey, let me tell you, I live in Cidadela.
Oh man!
okay.
So it's a little bit of hometown
okay.
territory on that selection.
Pontedago, I like Pontedago too. I got a lot of mans out there. But Volcanoes, they played serious, and they got a good coach.
It's very true.
That's true.
But Cidadela, them guys are tough.
Got a lot of shooters.
Got a lot of shooters. No guns, though.
All right, so for game 2, we have the Warriors versus the Panthers. The Warriors, yesterday was the last game. They killed it.
Joshua
Did
York
amazing.
Fraser.
York Fraser showed us a little
I
something.
fucks with him.
Yeah, man. Joshua Yorks Fraser, he's actually one of the best guards that we have here on the roster. He's having an
has
outstanding.
fun, bro.
Absolutely. He gets involved with the crowd.
He was
He hits
salsa
big
dancing
plays.
everywhere.
Absolutely. But on the other side, we have the Panthers, and let's be quite honest, the Panthers got embarrassed first game. So they're coming out to prove a message. Nick Maynard Hall personally told me from some sources that he's coming out to kill. And he doesn't want to get embarrassed like that
Ever
for the
again.
rest of the season, ever again. So what do you think is going to happen with that? Because that's almost a two-star matchup on a two-star matchup.
That's easy for me, bro. I told you I like them all, but Josh is gonna do it, bro.
Okay, so the Plateau Warriors on that one.
I think so.
Okay.
I think they're a little more firm.
A little more
It
firm?
was just it's one game. You can call it.
Yeah.
You can call it, but hey, you can always have a hint.
Okay.
All right, game 3. The Sharks are playing the last game of the night for the second time against the Gorillas.
Ponteago, what are you going to say?
Ponteago.
Hey, it's like this, man. Let me put you on to this. When you talk about the Sharks, even if, the Sharks is Cape Verde. You know what I'm saying? the national team is the Sharks. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at, there's a shark out there, bro.
Yo.
I want them to.
Okay,
But they're
okay.
gonna play
Yo, he
against
needs
my
his own
mans, too.
show.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yep.
gonna say
They're
anything.
playing against the Gorillas. Now you got to choose. You got to choose. Gorillas or
Sharks
Sharks?
or Gorillas?
But we got no gorillas in Cape Verde.
Oh my
Come
God.
on, man. You heard about the mascot, man. You got Draco,
Oh, that's
Rodriguez
my-
Palmer,
I like him.
and Mario Williams on one team
Oh, that's my man.
versus Charles Boozer and Malik Miller with Cape Verdean superstar Alwyn Silva. So it's going to be a tough matchup. You got to pick one of them.
Why don't you guys pick?
Hey, listen, I'll give you my 3. I'll give you my 3 right now. Listen, I didn't say anything different from you because you chose everyone I wanted to choose.
You did.
CBC to Della, of course, I choose them.
Yep.
And then game 2,
Warriors.
of course, I got Josh York Fraser coming out, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Nick Maynard Hall, Alex Lane, I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out and they're going to play. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be hungry.
Yeah, that's problem.
Yeah.
That's problem.
Absolutely. And then this last game, I'll give my pick first.
I think Sharks.
You think the Sharks out?
I think the Sharks.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think the Sharks have the length. I don't know if they have the length to guard.
As well, the other team is hungry too.
Absolutely, the Gorillas had a 10-point loss to one of the best teams in the league.
Mario was injured.
Absolutely, Mario was
Yeah,
injured.
Mario was
Alex
injured.
Austin had a standout game. Draco is gonna have a great game again, and then Mario, hopefully he comes back healthy. And we'll see what that full big 3 can actually offer
Man,
up.
I enjoy him fun, bro. Whoever win, it is what it is.
Okay.
Whoever wins.
You don't want no one to be mad at him. That's what that is.
He's playing the political role. I'm not mad at that.
hey, let me tell you something. I'm gonna win it because I'm whoever wins.
So you like a bandwagon, huh? LeBron win, you LeBron fan. KD win, you KD fan. The Warriors win. Plateau Warriors win. You Josh York Fraser fan.
I care and I don't care.
Okay. Well, we're not gonna hold you too long. This is the end of our very first segment of Al B and KT off the coast with our first guest celebrity, Guy. We'll hope to see you guys next episode. Please tune in. Like I said, this is brought to you by our very own sponsor, Bon Appetit. So please tune in to that. Check in the Praia League page on YouTube to watch all of our games on live. Al B will have all of the halftime interviews for you. We'll do a pregame show, and I'll be covering all of the postgame interviews. So please stay tuned, stay updated, and turn those notifications on.
100.